Guys, well, we are back in the building, and of course, we're going to talk some reality TV news. We got 3 stories for you guys today, so let's get down into the biz naive. But if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so. And make sure if you are in the DMV area that you tap in, tune in, and turn on Good Day DC today at 11 a.m. I will be on the 11 o'clock hour for the Like It or Not lunch hour because you know your boy likes to eat, okay? Eating and talking pop culture are 2 of my favorite things. So if I can marry them both, I am there for it. Now, with that being said, let's get into the news, shall we? So we have Shaunie O'Neal letting us know exactly why she quit Basketball Wives. Oh, yes. We're going to get the tea. We're going to get the intel on exactly what she said on the Sherri Shepherd Show. And this was brought to us by our friends over at Jay's Reality Blog. I was trying to remember who my source was, but I got to make sure. Got to call out the source. All right, that reposted this.
Before we started dating.
Before I get into that, let's talk about how this came up. So Sherri asked Shaunie a very good question. How do you balance being a first lady with having Basketball Wives as a show, or doing Basketball Wives as a show? And so this was Shaunie's response.
Right before we started dating, I was like in this, I don't know, this place of where I was like, this is not really representing me anymore.
So as you guys can see, or maybe you can't see because I had to kind of alter it, Shaunie O'Neal discusses moving on from Basketball Wives and how the show was not representing her anymore. So she says that before she started dating her man, she was starting to feel like the show wasn't a representation of her anymore. Was it that the show is not a good representation, or is it just something that she has moved on from? It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Listen, Tammy Roman moved on from it as well. So I guess the statement goes, when something no longer serves you, you should probably no longer serve it. Okay. But she then continues on.
Physically being there on camera. So it was like this thing was happening in my life anyway, where I was evolving from that place.
Yes. So yeah, I can understand that too. I mean, you get to a place where, something just feels like, I don't think I should be doing this anymore. All right. But at the end of the day, she's still producing. Okay. So she willing to collect that check, but she just not willing to be up in that good drama. Not that she was ever really involved in it anyway. I felt like she was just kind of there and she sprinkled some drama dust on some things. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of, being in the background. But here's the thing. Shaunie served as big sister all Mike T. So it always seemed like the girls were fighting for, to be on Shaunie's good side. And those who ended up on her bad side ended up feeling the wrath in some way, shape, or form. Not from Shaunie, but typically from someone else.
And I meet Keon, and it just was like the right time in life where I'm.
So basically, she just goes on to talk about, meeting Keon, having this relationship with him, ultimately also moving to another state. I'm sure a lot of these, Basketball Wives don't live in, LA at this point anymore. Some are back and forth and, however they want to do it. But what do you guys think? Do you think the show is really not a representation of who Shaunie is anymore? And how do you think she will do with the transition from being a producer of a show that is really centered and focused on a lot of drama, okay? A lot of drama. And, balancing her efforts as a first lady or as a new first lady? I want to know what you guys think. And can you do both? Or should we just be able to, maneuver in different spaces? I want to hear you guys' opinion. So the next thing I want to talk about is the fact that Shasha Gabor, Charisse Jackson Jackson, I guess I should say, or is it Jordan? Charisse, from Real Housewives of Potomac is back in a friend capacity. In this past episode, we see Robyn confronting Wendy about saying that Wendy wanted to fight her and that she had to be held back by Charisse. And so ultimately, Robyn ends up calling Charisse as proof that Charisse did not have to lay a finger on her, but instead we did not see one finger, we saw 10, okay? We saw 10 fingers that Charisse had to put on, Robyn. And so production basically, was doing their job. And, as we always say over here, they bring out the receipts, okay? And in the receipts, we see Charisse putting her hands on Robyn to keep her back, okay? Here's what Charisse had to say, though. And shout out to our friends over at the Peach Report Daily for this. Charisse commented, and she says, let me read it to you. Hold on. She says this: I was not preventing her from putting her hands on Wendy. She was not about to physically attack Wendy. As soon as she stood up, my natural reaction was to stand up in an attempt to calm the situation. Wendy said, stand in your truth. She stood. Wendy also told her to sit down, and she did that as well. Security was there. If there was a real concern, they would have interjected. I was not holding her back. People are going to interpret things the way they want. Lightly nudging someone to sit back down is way different from holding someone back. Oh, listen, Charisse, I get it. That's your girl. You know what I'm saying? That's your girl. And if we want to see evidence of this, you guys can watch the scene play out right here. But we all know what happened. We saw it with our own eyes. You know what I'm saying? We saw exactly what happened. We saw you have to get up and basically move Miss Robyn back. Let's just go to it. Here it is right here. It's right there on the screen for us to see it. You are basically holding her back. So this is a game of semantics, right? You're basically saying something that you're trying to give us an interpretation of your actions, but you're trying to say it something different. And ultimately, it doesn't matter how you say it. It really just matters in the action that we see. So you can say I was lightly nudging her back with 10 fingers, okay? Or you can just be real about it and say, yeah, I was holding my girl back. I was holding her back because I wanted to de-escalate the situation. Say it like that. And you should have probably said it, on the phone, like, yeah, I did have to get up and push you back in that direction. Because otherwise, you look like you were telling a lie. Okay, that's what you look like. Let me put alleged, okay? Because the people. And it's kind of like what we see and the camera shows us is essentially what I remember from the episode. I could have swore, but I'm so glad that they showed us this flashback. Nevertheless, she is standing 10 toes down with her friend, okay? Let me know your thoughts about that. Meanwhile, let's talk about this. Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip season, what is this going to be? 4? Season 4, okay? Word is it's about to start filming. Let's take a look at the cast in case you missed it, all right? There's been so much going on, and I know that a lot of news has been out there, so you might have already seen this, but in case you haven't, let's discuss real quick, all right? So, I don't know who put this cast together. I don't know why. I'm perplexed as to what would have made one think this is the cast that would work, right? Because Ultimate Girls Trip, we kind of are expecting chaos. We want a little chaos. Give me a little chaos magic, okay? A la the Scarlet Witch. If you're a Marvel head, you know what I'm talking about. This to me doesn't scream chaos. Many of these women are very controlled and not necessarily as unhinged as I would like for them to be. You know what I'm saying? That's not always a bad thing because, ultimately the shows need balance. And so here we have the rumored cast. This comes to us from the Real Housewives franchise, but it really came from Bravo and Cocktails. A source sent them the rumored cast, and we say rumor, we say alleged because obviously things could change, and sources have been pretty much on target before with the previous cast. But here we have Dolores Catania, Margaret Josephs from New Jersey, Robyn Dixon, Ashley Darby from Potomac, Garcelle Bouvet and Sutton Strack from Beverly Hills, and Emily Simpson and Gina Kirschenheiter from Real Housewives of Orange County. And it says the season will take place in Hong Kong and will film for 1 week in January of 2023. Now, Tamra Judge comments and says, looks like a great cast. Tamra, girl, I don't know. Let me tell you what I find difficult about this cast. Again, everyone here is really, I mean, I love them on their shows. I actually do, with the exception of one or two. To me, we could have done, and this is supposed to be dynamic duos or something like that. To me, the only dynamic duo would be Sutton and Garcelle. But to me, this cast isn't enough to really spark the amount of chaos that we need in order to make this great. Here is what I would have done. I would have called it Friends and Foes, right? So in Potomac, I would have either put Robyn with Wendy, or I would have put Robyn with or I would have put Ashley with Karen. Okay. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like Robyn and Wendy right now are like they used to be friends, but now they're foes, right? I'm assuming that they would probably want to put Ashley on because of seniority reasons. And if that was the case, then I would put Ashley with Karen because they have had a very interesting and up and down past. And I feel like Karen deserves her time on Ultimate Girls Trip because she is the Grand Dame. Now, in Jersey, I would have put Margaret and I would have put Jennifer Aiden. Okay. To me, it just makes sense. You've got the friend, you got the foe. So now you can have that bit of controversy and dynamic that people are having before they go into the season to see how things really get mixed up, right? Now, if I was going to go with Ultimate Girls Trip for Beverly Hills and I wanted to do the friend or foe, I would do either Garcelle with Erica Jane or Garcelle with Lisa Rinna. But I think that the network may be wanting to take a little bit of time away from Lisa Rinna right now. So probably Erica Jane. But can Erica Jane travel outside of the country right now? That is something that I don't know, right? So then if I had to do this, then I would probably say Garcelle and Dorit. Dorit doesn't bring in a lot of drama, but I do think that her dynamic with Garcelle is tense enough that it could make for some really good television. If I were to go with anyone from OC, then I would go with Gina and Shannon Beador because they have an up and down relationship and it really buys into that friend and foe dynamic. Shannon is a great reactor. Shannon reacts. Shannon is going to give you explosive moments. And you need people that are going to give you explosive moments. Jennifer Aiden is going to give you explosive moments. So you need people that are going to give you explosive moments. To me, Emily is not necessarily the best casting choice for this because Emily, while she can give you an explosive moment, I just never really feel like it's that real to me. And she, to me, is maybe a great player in an ensemble, but for a cast like Ultimate Girls Trip, you don't want ensemble players. You really want dynamic casting from different cities to see how they interact with each other whilst they are outside of their cast. And I think to throw the friend and foe dynamic in there, that would be the thing that would take this over the top. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. I'll place all links in the description down below so that you guys can go and look at these stories for yourselves. Let me know your thoughts. And otherwise, I will catch you guys in the next video.